What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Edgework here on the Hammer Betting Network. I am going to be your host today, Jason, filling in for Zack Phillips, PH with a Phil, and I'm going to be joined by So Money today, and potentially Alex Smith if he wakes up early enough. But So Money, how's your day going today?
It's going well. How are you doing?
I'm good. Obviously, we're here to talk about Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals, recap what happened, and look ahead to Game 5 and give you our best bets. So, Money, I want to talk to you about something quickly because I joined you for Game 3, and I found you gave out a wealth of knowledge during that pregame show. And we did the Game 3 show the day before, and I think the line was at like -115 plus 105 for Florida's favor. And if you listen to the show, So Money said you said you would play Vegas up to plus 110. Mind you, it didn't hit, but I was able to keep an eye on the lines overnight. Vegas blipped up to plus 110. I was able to hit them, got some good CLV. Didn't get the right result in Game 3, but nevertheless got some good CLV, guys. So these shows are pretty important, so you got to pay attention and listen to what So Money says about the line movement because he's pretty sharp with that stuff. So anyways, without further ado, let's get into Game 4. So Money, what were your general thoughts on Game 4? Tell me how Florida played, what went wrong for them, and what did Vegas do well to separate themselves from Florida in that game?
Yeah, what Vegas did well is what they've been doing this whole series. They have more defensive depth. They have more depth like just across their forwards, and they've taken over the game by doing what Florida wants to do, but doing it better. Right? They're getting on the forecheck. They're on the transition. They're rolling on all of their lines, and of course, you just can't ignore the depth advantage that Vegas has right now. And I mean, you also have to consider Florida. They're pretty banged up. It's pretty apparent out there, right? That like they are struggling. So credit to Vegas. They're doing everything that Florida wants to do, but they're doing it better. And that was the concern coming into the series, and we're seeing it play out. So I mean, it's all Vegas at this point.
Absolutely. That third defensive pairing for Vegas and that fourth line for Vegas has been kind of the key factors in the game when like those first three lines are kind of going head to head against Florida and Vegas. And I guess I still give the edge to the top two pairings on Vegas against Florida, but they're still matching each other. But again, like you said, that depth is really making the difference in the game. Now, one thing I want to talk about towards the end of the game is you mentioned this, the injuries, right? We saw Matthew Tkachuk leave Game 3 for a little bit. Some speculated it was concussion protocol. Others said it might be a shoulder injury, which after looking at that hit might be a shoulder injury. So he stepped out for a couple minutes of that game, came back, looked fine for Game 4, but also missed a couple minutes in Game 4 as well. So that paired with the antics at the end of the game. What were your thoughts on what happened, I guess, at the end of the game? Matthew Tkachuk doing what he did, potentially with an injured shoulder. Like, what is this good? Is this a good thing for Florida? Or do you think like they'll be able to take that, carry the momentum onwards? Or is it just like a show of their frustration and kind of gives the edge to Vegas there?
I think those end of game antics are not good for anybody, right? Like I don't prescribe to the sending a message for the next game and all that antiquated stuff, right? Like it's what I don't believe in game to game momentum, right? I think that once the game is done, it's done, and then you start a new game next game, right? Like I do believe in in-game momentum, right? But I don't think you carry anything over unless there's like injuries and stuff. So I don't really have time for like any of that kind of stuff, and I don't even see the purpose, right? Like Like if you're Vegas, right? Like you won the game, like just like let them run around and just like get off the ice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like
Yeah.
if you're Florida, like especially if you're Kachuk, right? Like you're hurt, right? Like you're hurting your team more long term by settling any personal scores that you had during the game, right? So if you hurt yourself even more, or if you stay hurt, you are actually hurting your team, right? So and like even at the end of the game, like if like two guys need to settle the score at the end of the game, right, of something that happened during the game, and obviously you can't do it then you know what, just fight at the end of the game, like,
Yeah.
right, like what's gonna happen, right? Like you're gonna get 5 minutes each with like at the 60-minute mark, right? Like who cares, right? Like settle your scores then, right? Like with like a one-on-one fight rather than like all this like other nonsense of like skating around and stuff and like like hugging each other as if you're playing baseball.
Yeah, that's very true. And on top of that, like, I mean, Sam Bennett kind of got ragdolled behind the net by William Karlsson. Like he was kind of
Yeah.
going crazy. Montour comes in from the blue line and just decks someone when the play was the final buzzer goes. And again, we saw Kachuk doing his best Phil Kessel impression, just whacking away. And all those things, like those could potentially lead to suspensions. I agree with you. It's not the brightest move for them. And on top of that, Kachuk is hurt. Just quickly before we get into our next topic, just want to say what up to Rich. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it, guys. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that like button. And then onwards from that, yeah, smash that like button. There it is. Onwards from that, Kachuk injury. I mean, we're probably going to assume he's playing, but do you think there's any like as a modeler, because you do model these games, do you ever like put in like an injury clause or like maybe take a player down because he's hurt? Because I mean, Kachuk hasn't looked like the player he was for the rest of the previous couple games in the playoffs. And like maybe this injury is a factor. I don't know what your sentiment is on that.
So I'm hesitant to make injury adjustments while the players are playing, usually, right? In this case, it's a little bit different because it's clearly evident that there's something wrong with him. It's been publicly acknowledged. In fact, Maurice was saying the other day that he does have a plan in terms of how he would use Kachuk if if Kachuk was playing. Now, reading between the lines, like what that tells me is that he's thinking about minutes allocation, maybe power play time, right? Maybe limiting his ice time, right? So all those things, because it's so apparent now, would I would make an adjustment on that, right? If we think that a player is injured, I'm not in the dressing room. I can never know, so I'm very hesitant to make make that adjustment, especially in the playoffs. But this is very evident here, so I'm okay with making with manually downgrading Kachuk here.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, that was a question that I had kind of for a while for a lot of modelers like you guys. That's kind of how you play those scenarios. But nevertheless, I mean, Florida is down 3-1, but they've been here before against the Boston Bruins a couple months ago, or I guess a month ago. So I guess anything is really possible. Before we get into our best bets of the game, guys, just looking over at our betting board, and I'm looking at the puck line, and of course, Pinnacle pops up as one of the best prices on the board. And guys, if you don't have Pinnacle, what are you doing, guys? Pinnacle is the world's sharpest sportsbook and available to bettors in Ontario. Find out what professional bettors have known for decades. Pinnacle is where the best bettors play. Must be 19 years or older in Ontario. Please play responsibly, and not available in the U.S. Guys, if you want to sign up for Pinnacle Sports, the sharpest sports book that offers either the best line on one side or the other side. It's usually offering the best lines. Make sure you hit that QR code in the bottom left corner, bottom right corner. You see the QR code, and check that link in the description because we'll it helps the show, helps support the show. So yeah, you should sign up for Pinnacle. And so before we get into this game, so many, what are you thinking right now? Any early leans here when we're looking at the betting board? We got plus 150 best price for the Panthers and minus 165 best price for the Vegas Golden Knights on the money line.
Yeah, Vegas opened a little short, and it got bet into place. It got smacked really quickly. So I think where we are right now, we're fair. The no vig line on Pinnacle makes it about 61%. So that is a big adjustment from where games 1 and 2 finish, but you have to add a couple of things. Obviously, injury concerns on Florida, not only it's Kachuk we talked about, but Duclair as well. And then you also have to add the premium of whenever a team is at home closing it out to win the Stanley Cup, you're gonna have to pay a price if you want to bet that, right? So there's that premium as well. So it opened a little bit short, and I mentioned this last time, right? Like these final games are very tight, right? And where it opened, it got taken care of pretty quickly.
Yeah. So just looking over at some other bets on the board, just looking at the full game stuff, like I'm seeing like a pretty good like our potential situation here where you could get a push on the under and over. But anyways, I was just looking at the puck line and Vegas -1.5 plus 161. That kind of piques my interest because logically, just to speak through this with you, in an elimination game, you would think like Paul Maurice, I don't know exactly his coaching tendencies and if he's the type of coach that would do this, but you'd think they'd throw it all out there towards the end of the game, and that would leave prime opportunity for a Vegas Golden Knights empty netter if they're up late in the game. Do you think that that's like an angle you can take with the -1.5? Do you like the -1.5 at all in this game compared to the money line? What are your general thoughts on like the puck line in these elimination type games?
So I don't really spend a lot of time on the puck lines. It's just like my own like my own betting style. I think that a puck line is like you have to model that separately, right? As opposed to just a money line. I know a lot of people want to kind of, I guess they look at the puck line in terms of like limiting the juice that they have to lay, but I don't really think you can think of it that way. I think those are you have to treat them as two separate entities, right? So, and for me, I don't really spend a lot of time on the puck lines. But in terms of how you're saying that Florida would like lay it out there, I agree with you. I think that if they're down late, you theoretically would pull the goalie early, but I would say that that's already priced in, especially when you look at the total. We're sitting at a 6 right now, right? So like that's already been adjusted up. So I think stuff like that gets priced in pretty quickly. If there is an edge there, I think that it would have been taken care of early, just like the money line was. So yeah, so I can't really comment on that. I do like the under. We were on the under when it first got adjusted to 6, and it came back down for game 4, and now we're back up again for game 5. So I do like the under there.
Okay, so the under 6. What are you playing that at any price? Is that an official pick for you, or what? Okay, all right. Let's hear it. What number do you want me looking at? It looks like under 6 best price I can find is a -115 over at obviously Pinnacle Sports. Do you like that under 6 at -115? And then also one more question. I see like an under 5.5 here at +115. What number would the under 5.5 have to be at for you to play that if it were to ever go there?
Yeah, so on the 5.5, I would need 121.
Okay.
But I think under 6 at -115 is still better. I played it I played a little bit lower than that, but I think up to 115 is fine.
Okay, I'm gonna lock that in right now. Under 6 -115 over at Pinnacle Sportsbook. And so many. Before we get into any other player props and I guess other markets, I just want to remind everyone that fancy little tool that we're using there is BetStamp. Guys, the easiest way to improve as a sports bettor is to use multiple sportsbook and always get the best odds. We recommend using an odds comparison tool like we're using over here at BetStamp. BetStamp compares odds across all sportsbooks for games, futures, player props. Save time and money by checking BetStamp before you bet. Download the app today. If you're looking to sign up for a new sportsbook, guys, please consider checking out the offers we have in our description. Head over to the website betstamp.app/edgework because it really helps when you guys sign up through new sportsbooks. Using those links helps support the show. So, guys, if you want to support us, use those links. So money. Looking at some player props. Do you have anything in mind in particular, or you kind of staying off player props? Last time I was on, you had the Riley Smith, which almost cashed. But anything you like here, player prop wise?
Yeah, so I already feel like I've got a lot because I had Jason Marchessault to lead the series in scoring, and I was also able to add him for the Conn Smythe as well. So we are all Jonathan, but I do like Mark Stone's props. I was looking at that earlier. Anytime goals. He's really going right now, and he's probably um, he's I think he'd be the only one that can that can take Marchessault out for the series prop. So I like the way he's playing. I like how Vegas is able to match him up right now, especially at home. So I do like him to score a goal. Um, it's not really out there right now. I've been waiting for the Marcus to fill up, but at 2-1, I would be on at least 2-1. I would be on Mark Stone to score a goal.
So is that an official play right here that we're gonna lock in at the plus 220? You like the plus 220 over at Caesar Sportsbook, or
yeah. So let's do that for a half.
Okay, so we're gonna lock in Mark Stone over 1 goal or just to score a goal at plus 220 over at Caesar Sportsbook for half a unit. We're gonna lock that in. Good stuff here. Anyone else you like? Do you like his shot props as well? Or are you looking anywhere else for Mark Stone? Or are you gonna look somewhere for another player?
No, I've been tracking Stone's shot props, and it's been steadily on the rise here. So I think we're good there. It's been I know that he's been hitting his shot props, but now we're sitting at he's favored now on the shot prop. So I think that I'll probably leave that one alone.
Yeah, sitting at around minus 101 looks like best price I can find right now at the moment of recording. Over 2.5 over at, of course, Pinnacle Sportsbook. Anything else you got for us, so money, or is that just about it for best bets? You got any maybe first period or within regulation bets that you like, or anything along those lines, or staying off it?
No, that's it. And if this is the last show, just thank you to everybody. All the private messages I get, all the even when you think that I'm disrespecting your team, I still appreciate the messages. So if this is the last show, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll see if this is the last show, but if it is, so money, I have one question for you, and I think I know which way you're going to go, but maybe I'll reword this question. Let's say, give me the top 3 and a percentage you think they'll win if Vegas wins tonight for the Conn Smythe Award. So let's say Marchessault 60%, Hill 20%, Stone whatever 20%. Give me the top 3. I know I'm putting you on the spot, and I know you have a lot of shares of Jonathan Marchessault, so there's probably a little bias here, but I'm just curious to hear your thoughts on this and maybe a percentage for each.
So looking at it objectively, really hard to envision Marchessault not winning it if Vegas wins the cup. If Florida wins the next couple of games and it goes 7, and like Aiden Hill was outstanding, I would give him a chance. But in terms of percentage, I would put, if it ends tonight, I put Marchessault at about 85%.
Wow. Okay.
I'd put Hill probably at like 10%, and then Eichel and Stone, like, you can flip a coin there. Maybe Stone has overtaken Eichel a bit, so maybe Stone at 5%. But it's really tough for me to think that Marchessault doesn't win if Vegas wins the cup, especially if it ends tonight.
Yeah, and if you can still find those markets, make sure you head over to those odds converter website, type in 85%, see what that means on the line, and go hit it. Anyways, you're gonna pull up the line right now for the Marchessault to win.
Yeah, because I saw minus 600.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's see.
That's about 8. It's like just under 80. No, am I wrong? Or I'm not good with that conversion in the head, but I'll let you get to that. Before we head out, I want to
take care of that later.
Okay, yeah, we'll get that later. Check back with DM So Money and tell him how much he hates your team, and then ask kindly what's the price. But yeah, anyways, guys, if this is the last show, if Vegas does win tonight, on behalf of everyone over here at Edgework, I just want to say thank you to all 1,300 subscribers who have tuned in throughout the entire season, guys. We started this from the beginning of the season, literally at square one. We had basically 0 subscribers, and we've kind of built up a great network of guests, of hosts, and a great community as well. And I know I'm not a constant face on here, and I'm filling in for Zach. And I mean, I hope there's one more game just so Zach can give you guys a proper sign off. But on behalf of Zach, on behalf of everyone over at Edgework, I just want to say thank you to you all, the fans, because without you guys, we wouldn't be here today. So again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in every day, every weekday for the last, God, I don't know how many, like 30, 40 weeks. It's been a blast. And I just want to say thank you to the community. So guys, without further ado, good luck on your bets. Good luck to Vegas. Good luck to Florida. And guys, have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys soon.